How's it going, everybody? CJ here. Back in another video. This is our first thoughts today. This first thoughts is on Orvar the All Form. Orvar the All Form. Remember, if you guys enjoy my content, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you want to support the channel, you can check us out on Patreon. And you can also buy cards through a TCG player affiliate link down below. It helps out the channel if you buy them through there. If you're going to build a deck, build it through there. Helps out the channel. And, Orvar, this card seems to be... Oh, wait. Also, comment down below the next commander that you want me to talk about in one of these first thoughts. So, preferably something from Call Time that I haven't done already, if there's any commanders that you really want to see. And if not from Call Time, Commander Legends, because I haven't finished up those yet. So let me know which ones you want to see next. Comment those down below. And yeah, let's hop into this. So Orvar, this card seems sick. It's super, super cool. Like, very neat ability. It seems like it could be very fun, tons of value, very powerful card. It's a deck that another Call Time Legend that I want to build. Like, I just want to build them all. They're all very fun. They seem very cool. And this deck is cool. It's got like Feather vibes or like Zada vibes, but in blue, and it's all copying and tokens and stuff. It seems cool. So we're gonna hop into this. The main stuff that I want to talk about here is the first stuff, at least, is gonna be cheap spells or recursive spells that target any permanent, or most of them target any permanent. Some of them are more specific, but target permanents you control, so that way you can just cheaply make token copies of stuff. The effect on these cards really does not matter in the slightest. It's just like 1 mana to make a token. 1 mana to make a token. That's basically what these are for. So you don't have to worry about the effect as much as just the card being in the deck. Except for some of them that have recursive effects. Like the first game I'm going to talk about, including probably the best card in the deck, Wima Volrath. It's got buyback for 2, so you pay 3 mana, and you can just copy anything and get the card back. So 3 mana, whenever you want to, instant speed to just copy stuff. Nutty. You got Clock Spinning, which is very similar. Same thing with Mind Games, just a little more expensive. And you got Capsize, which is not as good, but it's on theme. Sorry about that. And the problem with that is that it bounces the permanent to your hand. So you don't really want to do that on a token. It's kind of bad, but it's not the worst. Plus you can use it on your opponents if you need to, which is nice. You also got like Alter Reality, which has flashback. You can use Glamour Die, which has retrace. So if you're drawing too many lands, you can just pitch them to Glamour Die and cast it from your graveyard. And Trait Doctoring, which happens to have Cipher. So you can stick it on one of your creatures, and then whenever you attack, you get the copy. Next up, I'm going to talk about just the 1 CMC spells that seem very powerful in the deck. Just the 1 CMC spells that can end up copying any permanent, or most permanents. You got Artificial Evolution, Dream's Grip, Magical Hack, Mind Bend, Moonlace, Prismatic Lace, Thought Lace, Rescue, Sleight of Mind, Thermal Flux, and Cerulean Wisps. These are just very cheap spells that let you copy permanents, and yeah, I mean, that's all that really matters with these. And if you notice with a lot of these cards have to do with like changing the colors of cards. So one of the themes that you can kind of lean into in the deck is like, I've got a color control deck. Color control, like it uses color hate cards, and cards change colors, so that way they hate on the colors that you need to hate on at certain times. So cards that you can throw in if you want to lean into that theme at all, you can throw in like Blue Elemental Blast. You can throw in Hydro Blast, same thing. The swords, like Sword of Feast and Famine, Sword of Fire and Ice. That way you can get protection from certain colors, and you can change permanents that are scary into those colors. Douse, so that way you can counter red spells, or you can change it to any color you need to, or you can change the spell to a lot of colors using some of these cards. There's Hibernation to bounce all the green permanents, so you can change your opponent's stuff to green if you need to bounce it. You got Insight, whenever an opponent plays a green spell, draw a card, and so you can change it to whatever color is most common at the table. So like, say you have 3 people that are playing black, you can change that card to black, and then bam, you draw a ton of cards. There's High Seas to make it so red and green creatures cost more to play, but you can change that to whatever colors you need to. Wrath of Mirror, make it so certain creatures can't untap. And yeah, like I run some of these cards inside of my color control deck. It's a fun deck. It's a weird deck. This is a good deck to like lean into that for. Like just because you're already running a lot of the cards just because they synergize very well. And like you can like with Wrath of Mirror, just an enchantment, you can copy it and change the colors so that way you can make it so end up making it so all creatures besides blue creatures end up being tapped. Which would be nice. That'd be very powerful for you. Next up, I'm going to talk about some modal cards. So cards that have an ability to target one of your permanents, but also have other stuff going on, so that way you can get more benefits. There's just a few I want to mention here, being Cryptic Command, Sublime Epiphany, Mystic Confluence. All these are fantastic cards. All these should be auto-includes. Then we got the cards that can target more than one permanent, just to make things a little easier for you. And I didn't find too many of these, but I pulled up some. So I specifically was trying to find some that targeted any permanent as opposed to like just creatures and stuff. But you got Distorting Wake, Gridlock, and Gigadouse. Or Distorting Wake and Gridlock are both X spells. Gigadouse has Replicate, so it's kind of like an X spell. We got Chain of Vapor, so you can target your own thing. Like you could kind of just go a little nutty here. So you can target like you can get Storm really high with this. You target one of your lands to make a copy of, like target an island, make a copy of it, sack the island, copy the island. I don't know if you can actually do it that way. Wait. I think you can. I'm pretty sure you can. I think it works. So Chain of Vapor, you can target your land to copy it, and it does not work. It does not work. But yeah, it doesn't work. But if you needed to copy like a bunch of creatures, and you can just sack all your lands to copy a creature a bunch of times and go nuts. You got Paradoxical Outcome. That does target, right? I wrote it down, so it has to target. That's the rules. Paradoxical Outcome does in fact target, so any non-land, non-token permanents you control. So you just bounce all of your non-land, non-tokens to your hand. You can use an instant speed to protect them from a board wipe or something, just whatever you want to, and then you make a token of all of them. Seems good. And Reality Spasm, which another one I should have pulled up, but I didn't because I'm a big dumb idiot. Reality Spasm is another one which is just an X spell. So all those seem pretty good in the deck because you can just, if you have a lot of mana, you can sink a lot of mana into like doubling your board basically. Next I want to talk about cards so that way you can copy Orvar, so that way you can, whenever you target something, you get 2 or 3 of them instead. You got both Sakashimas, Sakashima the Imposter and Sakashima of 1,000 Faces. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. And you got Spark Double. All 3 of those are literally just clone effects that are non-legendary, so you can then target those to make, like say you play Spark Double as a copy of your Orvar. You then cast Whim of Volrath for 3 mana, buying it back to target your copied Orvar. You then create 2 new Orvars because of the old Orvar's abilities. Say you do that again. Now you're making 4 new ones, 8 new ones, 16 new ones. It gets disgusting. It gets nutty. So seems like those cards seem great includes. Same thing with Helm of the Host, because those are also non-legendary tokens. Awesome includes in the deck. Auto includes. Next, I want to talk about cards that just synergize with all these really cheap spells that target anything. You got Cowardice, Willbreaker, and Dismissing the Dream. All of those do a really good job of just like dealing with your opponent's stuff you need to, bouncing stuff, making them sacrifice stuff, or just straight up taking control of stuff. You got Windrider Wizard, so that way you draw cards and you can loot. Basically, you loot every time you cast an instant or sorcery, which is nice. There's Livewired Lash, so you can equip it to one of your creatures, and every time you target it, you get to shock something, which isn't bad. We got Myriad Construct, because you can target it, make a token that's a copy of it, sacrifice the original to make a bunch of tokens, copy the token, make a token that's a copy of it, sacrifice it to make a bunch of tokens. Like, you can stack the triggers so that way you just make it. It's basically like it replaces itself, and you get all those little constructs. Really cool. You got Docent of Perfection, just to make a bunch of little wizards, and then you flip it into a big lord, and then you can do some big damage. And Primal Amulet, so you can end up copying these spells. So that way you can, like, instead of making one token, make 2 tokens, because you're doing a spell twice. Seems good. Then you're also going to want to be able to recur your spells, because you don't want to be left empty-handed. You want to be able to just continue to cycle through them over and over and over, keep getting gas. So stuff like Mnemonic Wall and Archaeomancer, Snapcaster Mage, and Torrential Gearhulk all seem fantastic, because you can also copy themselves to get the stuff back. So that's nutty. Like, you can do some nutty things with that. There's a lot of really good synergies, loopy stuff that you can do. It seems fun. Same thing with Mystic Sanctuary. Like, that's a more minor one, but like, it still works because you can target any permanent with a lot of these. So you can just like make a bunch of Mystic Sanctuaries and keep putting stuff on the top of your library. And Seagate Stormcaller seems pretty good. When it enters, you can copy spells. So the next spell you cast would be copied, and then you can make it for that copy. You can copy Seagate Stormcaller, make a copy of that. It keeps copy. Just a bunch of stuff. Precursor Golem. I love this card. I have it in my Feather deck. Fantastic card. In this deck, you can, whenever you target one golem, you target all your golems, and it comes in making 2 golems, I believe. Let me double check that. Precursor Golem. Enters the battle, create 2, so that means you have 3 golems. So if you target one of your golems, you're making 3 golem tokens. And after that, the next time, if you target one of your golems, you're making 6 golem tokens. It's really good in this deck. I think Precursor Golem might be one of the best cards in this deck, and that's really funny. You also got Artisan of Forms, so that way you can kind of cast something to change it. Like, Artisan of Forms will turn into whatever you want it to, and so you can make tokens of that, which seems very powerful. Mirage Mirror is another way that you can copy your opponent's stuff, similar to Artisan of Forms. Then you got stuff like Cloud Post, Glimmer Post, and Power Stone Shard, all cards that do more when there's more of them in play. Like, just make a ton of extra mana. Seems decent. Mechanized Production is just a win con in the deck. Like, just throw it on something, make a bunch of tokens of it, and win the game. And you can do that, like, you play Mechanized Production, but then during the person before you's end step, you can cast all these spells from your hand because they're all instant speed, make a ton of copies of that card, and then bam, you win the game. Sage of Hours, you could end up getting a lot of extra turns off of this. It seems pretty cool. Yeah, Spell Seeker, just to tutor out these cheap spells. It tutors out Women of Volrath, so that's awesome. And then you can target it and go get more. Like, it just lets you keep getting gas, especially when you use it with one of the ones that can target more than one permanent. Then to make some of the stuff cheaper, so you can add in some of the 2 mana stuff, but also just make your spells cheaper in general. Oh, got a tickle in my throat. Yeah, Battlefield Thaumaturge, which just makes stuff cost less, and also has Heroic, making it hexproof, so it can protect itself by you doing what you want to do. Baral, Chief of Compliance. You can't really copy this one, but it's still pretty good. And Sapphire Medallion is an auto-include. It's mono blue, so why not? You can throw in Early Frost, copy 3 lands for 2 mana. Very good. And last stuff I want to talk about is stuff that seems really sweet to copy. Imagine having like 4 Rhystic Studies in play. You'll be drawing everything. Same thing with like Peregrine Drake. Just keep drawing cards from Peregrine Drakes or Consecrated Sphinxes. Gross. You can throw in Propaganda so your opponents just can't attack you. Peregrine Drake, Palinchron, or Great Whale. These all can make you tons and tons and tons of mana. So you can throw in some X spells in there, like Blue Sun Zenith, just copy them a bunch of times, make a ton of mana, draw a lot of cards, win the game after that. You do Agent of Treachery just to start stealing a ton of stuff. Venser, Shape Savant, you can like literally just have a counter spell on a stick. It turns all of your 1 mana instant speed clone spells into counter spells just by targeting Venser. That seems disgusting. And I Illuvian Primordial because why not just steal your opponent's good stuff from their graveyards? Seems good. Another way you can win the game with this deck, this is the last part I'm going to talk about. Another way you can win the game is using Storm. So something like Brain Freeze or whatever other blue Storm card you want to use. You can use Archaeomancer, Mnemonic Wall, or Venser, and the card Submerge. So Submerge says you can cast it for free if an opponent controls a forest, which will probably happen, and you control an island, and you put target creature on top of its owner's library. So you say you have like Venser in play, you cast Submerge, targeting Venser, Venser enters, putting Submerge back into your hand on his ETB, the token gets whatever, goes away, and you just keep casting Submerge for free, targeting Venser, and Venser bouncing it back to your hand over and over and over again. Or Archaeomancer, you copy Archaeomancer, Archaeomancer picks it out of the graveyard after it resolves, and you just keep doing that over and over and over again. It's, you just like make a ton of super high storm count and then just boom, win the game. And also these cards all seem very good in the deck anyway, so it just seems like a easy, very synergistic win con. And that is what I got for Orvar. If you guys want these show notes that I do for these, like what I just threw on the ground, if this would interest you in any way, the giveaway for these show notes, let me know. Because I just have a pile of them sitting around, and I don't know what to do with them. So if you want them, let me know. But that's the end of the video. So if you guys enjoyed this video, remember, comment down below what the next commander you want me to do for First Thoughts is going to be. Like what you want me to do. Let me know. If you want a show note, let me know. I don't know if people are going to want that. If they do, then yeah, sure. What else? Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you want to support the channel, check us on Patreon. On Patreon, you can join us in Discord, talk to me, talk to the boys, talk to everybody. We have a good time in there. It's fun. And you can, if you can buy any of the cards that I talked about in this video, if you want to build Orvar, buy the cards through the TCG Player affiliate link that's down below, and it helps out the channel. And that is all I've got for you. So we will see you guys next time. Peace out, everybody.